Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
We're halfway through the 2012 season, and your team has won 4 in a row now after Saturday's 38-14 victory over Minnesota Morris. How important was it for your team to strike first in that game?
Yeah, I think it's always important to get off to a great start, and we've been able to do that the last few weeks, either offensively, defensively, or both. And so it was a good start for us on Saturday.
I know you see more the defensive side of the ball, but let's talk a little offense if we can, specifically about Northwestern's running game. It's not uncommon to see a 2-back system, but the Eagles have seemed to go with a 3-back system in Chris Simon Wallace, Josh Sinnen, and Tim Utze. What does each of those guys bring to the table?
Yeah, Chris Simon Wallace has just got speed and power and can read real well, runs downhill as well as any young back that I've seen. Josh Sinnen certainly can have that breakaway speed at times. Also does a good job of reading things and is a little tougher to bring down because of that. And Utze's just a combination of both of those guys. He is still working, I think, to get back to his form where he was at last year, but he has done everything we've asked him to do and more. He's really been a humble guy this year and has really been one of the unsung heroes of our season so far.
I know Coach Johnson kind of heads up the offensive scheme, but do you know, is there a certain situation where you'll see one of those 3 backs specifically, like, you know, a 3rd and 2 or a goal line stance, things like that, where you'll throw one in versus the other?
Well, we have personnel situations that we'll get in, and so depending on what personnel groupings we have, there'll be different backs in there at different times.
Going into last Saturday's game, your team was even in giveaways and takeaways this season. You upped that number to a +1 for the season, which is a good thing. And given that you've outscored opponents by an average of 25 points per game, does that turnover ratio surprise you?
It does a little bit. You'd think that we would be higher on the plus ratio, but I'm fine with it at this point. I think we're just going to continue to try and get better on both sides of the ball, controlling it on offense and trying to get a few more turnovers on defense. But really, we just need to keep playing good football, and all those things will take care of themselves.
Time for your repeat question of the week. Who had an exceptional game for Northwestern on both offense and defense?
Well, even though it was probably not statistically a huge game for him, I think Tim Utze continues to play at a solid level as a senior. He's done everything we've asked him to do, whether it's blocking or playing a different position this year, running with the football, catching the football. So he's been a real great player for us in that perspective. And then both the Summerlots I thought had good games. Luke had a tremendous game from the outside linebacker, and his older brother had a good game as well. So Kendall's playing and leading our defense, which is a real plus.
I don't want to take away from the special team side of the ball either. Is there someone this season that's really having a standout year on special teams?
Well, I don't see a lot of the special team stuff, but in regard to let Coach Balke do a lot of that. But when I do watch the game or I watch film, Kendall Summerlot as a senior has been a standout. He's that first guy down there in kickoff, and that's always huge, especially when you're starting a football game.
So let's shift ahead to this week's game against St. Scholastica in Duluth. The Saints, like Northwestern, lost a non-conference game in Week 1 and have won 4 straight since. What's your impression of St. Scholastica after watching them on film?
Yeah, they're another great team from Scholastica. They've been good from the very get-go. Personnel-wise, their coaching staff does a tremendous job. Watching them on film, they're a little different last year on offense because of their quarterback. He can run the football, and so that's something that we'll definitely have to be aware of.
When you're going into a game like this, do you take time to watch film from the previous year's matchup against the same team? And if so, how much weight do you give it?
Yeah, I think you have to look at last year's film and just kind of see what you did well, what some things that you may need to correct, how the game went, things of that nature. So you put some credence to that. There's no doubt about that.
This week's game starts at 4 p.m. in Duluth, which is 3 hours later than what your team is used to for a start time. And does that change anything besides what time the bus leaves campus on Saturday morning for your team?
Yeah, we enjoy the road trips. We're going to stop in Moose Lake and eat at Nathan Van Zee's church, so that'll be fun. We always try and make the road trips as enjoyable as possible, knowing that it's a business trip at the same time.
And in looking at other UMAC scores from Saturday, Eureka scored 21 fourth quarter points to beat Westminster 31-18 in Missouri. What are your thoughts about the Red Devils, who you'll see on October 27th?
Well, they're a tough opponent, certainly, but our focus right now is Scholastica, and we'll just look forward to this week, and when we play the Red Devils, it'll be a fun road trip for us.
All right, well, good luck this week, Coach, and as always, we'll see you next Monday.
All right, thanks.